The story of Portchester Castle starts way back in the 3rd century AD, when it was first built as a fort by the Romans. The threat of invasion from Saxon pirates was very real, so the Romans built a series of these incredible forts along the coast of England, serving as the ultimate deterrent. Welcome to Portchester Castle.
The strategic location which Portchester Castle commands has cemented its place as one of the most important coastal fortifications in the south of England. Archaeologists have not been able to give an exact date of the castle, but during excavations, Roman coins were discovered and they were dated to AD 268. What was also discovered was evidence to suggest that the castle grounds were also used as a significant settlement for the people of that time. Mass burials, foundations of timber houses, animal pens and cesspits were all discovered during those excavations. After Roman occupation, the castle was used by the Saxon people until the Norman invasion in 1066 in the very same way, as a fortified settlement. In the 10th century, the castle passed from the hands of the church to the crown. The Saxon king, King Edward the Elder, was granted the fort by the Bishop of Winchester. Edward set about turning the fort into a burh, which is a fortified town or place. This was common during this time due to the threat from the Vikings. Edward added a stone tower, large hall, and multiple timber buildings for storage. One of its Norman owners, William Pont de la Arche, who was the Sheriff of Hampshire, added an Augustine priory in 1128. This pretty little church, the Church of St Mary, still serves its community today. Under Norman rule, the castle saw the addition of the Great Square Keep. This was built in stages, with the first stage well underway in the mid-12th century.
You can just imagine how important it was to have this fort in preparation for those barbarian pirates. Look at that, those bricks, those really thin ones. Wow. And you've got flint down here, large flint stones. Amazing. So from this side of the castle you can see Portsmouth, you can see the Spinnaker Tower sticking up there, that's the spiky building. Here's the castle. You can see the big stone keep in the corner there and some other stone towers. Look at this. It's huge, expansive, vast, incredible. Certainly got the weather for it at last, after many weeks of rain, cancelled walks, etc. The outer bailey here is so vast, and you can really imagine it full of timber buildings and homes and huts and stores. A really significant settlement would have been here throughout the ages. So there's the 12th century church of St Mary's here on the grounds, and originally that was the Augustine Priory. Lots of confetti, looks like somebody has got married here recently. And what a beautiful place to get married. There was a really lovely gentleman in that church, and he was telling me that it's Norman, of course, which we knew, and it's built with stone from the Isle of Wight. There's a couple of famous graves of some local writers and poets here, and he was saying that some of the masonry has been falling down, so there's repairs going on at the moment inside the church. Look at this. This has to be somebody with some nautical connections, I would have thought. The ropes around the cross, maybe. 1885. With an abundance of rich history, it probably comes as no surprise as to the fact that there are 3 ghost stories associated with Portchester Castle and with the Church of St Mary's. A ghostly monk who is believed to have been here when it was a priory is often seen walking around the castle grounds, around the church, and down on the shore as well. In addition, there are rumours of a spectral, dark-haired female who has been seen on multiple occasions, seemingly crying over a grave of a child. And there is some local folklore associated with a story of a baby that sadly drowned in the castle moat. Could this woman be the mother of that child who's still haunted by the loss of her young one? And Portchester Castle also has the classic White Lady, which is a misty white and grey phantom that's often seen roaming inside the castle. Who she is, nobody really knows. So I've seen some reports on the internet of a pirate grave being here, which is very, very interesting if there is one. Okay, we found it. So it says, the memory of... Oh, it's very hard to read. I think it says it's either S or C and... I'm not quite sure what that says. But it's the imagery around here that is really cool. So you've got the hourglass with wings, which is a sign of sort of mortality, basically, the sands of time passing through the hourglass. I'm not sure what these are. Candles? Yeah, I think they're candles. There's one on each side. And then you've got the skull and crossbones, which is not necessarily to do with pirates. It's more to do with resurrection, because it was believed by Christians that you need the thigh bones and the skull to be resurrected in the second coming. And then down at the bottom here you've got a crown, which could represent victory and glory, or Christianity again. And let me just see what's around. It's quite hard to make out what that is. Some pretty tracery. It's got like a bow or something at the bottom there, maybe, I don't know. Or it could be a serpent. And then over here you've got a pick and a spade, which are sometimes put onto graves to represent the trade of the person who died. Okay, so everything I've looked at so far, the church and the castle grounds, is actually free to come and have a look around. You don't need a ticket or anything like that. You can just rock up, although you do have to pay for parking because they're run by Fareham Council, the car parks. But to go inside the castle, you need to be buying a ticket, or if you're an English Heritage member, you can get in for free. So I'm going to take you inside. Let's go and have a look inside this incredible castle.
After Norman rule, Portchester Castle saw the addition of further garrisons, but also luxurious royal apartments were added and were enjoyed by the many English kings who stayed here. The castle's coastal location made it a popular staging post for offshore campaigns. Both Edward III and Henry V launched their famous campaigns to Crecy and Agincourt from this castle. The castle's story as a royalist building came to an end in 1632 when Charles I sold the castle to a local landowner whose descendants still own it today. But the castle still had further roles to play in history, and in the 18th century the castle was used as a prison for enemy captives. Its fortified curtain walls and grand size meant it could hold up to 8,000 prisoners. Here we can see graffiti carved into the stone of the castle by those very prisoners.
There's just so many interesting nooks and crannies and doorways and hallways. A good view of the keep. So this here is a recreation of the prisoners' theatre, which they had here at Portchester when the French prisoners were here. It's So just reading on this information board that a group of French captives were moved to Britain and held here at Portchester on the 20th of September 1811, and among them was the theatrical troupe led by a Monsieur Carr, who had worked behind the scenes in the theatre Feydeau in Paris. So they had all this theatrical experience, so they put on shows here for other prisoners and probably those that worked here to enjoy. Yeah, local people were allowed into the castle to see the French prisoners' plays. The proprietor of the main theatre in nearby Portsmouth complained, and the government ordered the theatre's closure. It was good for their morale, it says. Of course. Isn't that crazy to think that that happened in here, and I've stood here now? Blows my mind a bit. But I'm here now. So there's a little museum here with some interesting artefacts, and yeah, I'm just going to have a little look around. So I was drawn into number 12 there in the middle, that silver ear pick, it says here, which was Roman. During the excavations, a small cemetery was found containing the skeletons of 21 individuals. This skull is from an elderly man who suffered from a disease which deformed his bones. The holes in the back of his skull were made during excavation. So this stone Norman keep here in Portchester Castle is one of the largest and oldest keeps in the whole of England. So you can probably just about make these out. You might see the red of them still against the brickwork, but these are original wall paintings which date to 1830 to 1840, and they believe that they were used basically as a backdrop for the theatre when that was here. Amazing. How cool would it be just to see an actual ghost right now, just flutter past. A white lady. It'd be incredible, wouldn't it? Because let's face it, ghosts don't just come out at night if they are real. I mean, a lot of the photos you see over the years, ghost photos, I know some aren't legit, but they're pretty much all taken in the daytime. Come on, ghosties. That said, if I did actually see a ghost, I'd probably run and hide like a coward. Going up again. Okay, I think we're nearly at the top of the keep. I'm just going up the stairs here, and there's more graffiti. Look at that. 1797. Okay, oh my gosh. Oh, I mean, where do you start? Look at this. Oh my gosh. Well, you can see why the Romans chose this spot to protect from invaders, from those pirates. Oh my goodness me. That's incredible. Oh my. Oh. Wow. There's Portsmouth. What commanding views. No wonder the Romans chose this spot to protect from the Saxon pirates, and no wonder all of the kings that followed, the Saxon kings, chose this as a place to embark on their wars across seas.